Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to this introductory session of our e-learning course, Millets for Health cooking course. It's great to have you all join us this afternoon. My name is Shweta Gupta. I'm from Team WellCure, and I'm going to be hosting today's session. So before we proceed into the session, some pointers to ensure smooth flow of the session. You're all requested to keep your microphones on mute and your phones on silent. Any communication, any questions, we'll use the chat box. For questions, I'd request you to stick to today's topic for your questions. You may take notes for future reference. So here is the flow of today's session. Will have our program expert Pallavi Upadhyay joining us, and she will make a presentation about what millets are, health benefits of millets, how to identify different kind of millets, how to use these millets. Then we also have planned a recipe demo. So we are going to be playing one of the videos from our course, the Millets for Health course. A recipe video from the course we will be playing in the today's session, post which we will share the details of our e-learning course and also a special offer that we have on the course, and after which we will open the forum for your Q&A. So it's a pleasure for me to now introduce our program expert to you. So Millets for Health is a course curated by Pallavi Upadhyay, who's the managing director of a social enterprise called Millets for Health. And she is, I mean, I can call her an expert on when it comes to millets. She is going to share insights about all about millets. So millets have become very popular these days, but then around the topic of millets, there are a lot of queries that people have regarding what the variety of millets, or regarding how to use millets in our daily life, and what are the health benefits. So Pallavi is somebody who's an expert and who'll be able to answer all these questions. She has also been curating her own recipes with different kinds of millets, which she has shared in this course. So it's a pleasure to have Pallavi with us. With this, I welcome Pallavi and hand over the session to her. I'll stop sharing my screen. Hi, Pallavi, can you hear me? Hi, Pallavi.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, Pallavi, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm so sorry. There was a problem. I've only now managed to log in from my phone. I hope you can see clearly. I somehow cannot log in from the browser at all.
Okay. No, but we can see you. We can hear you clearly.
Okay, great. And I still have battery on my phone, so that should be okay. All right.
So Pallavi, I did the brief intro, while you were logging in. So do we start with your presentation?
The thing is that I'm just unable to log in from the laptop at all. So what I can do is, I mean, I can talk, and it will be just as presentation, I promise. I'm very well versed with my facts, so just go ahead with the oral thing.
Okay, so I think you can start briefing everyone about millets and what you usually cover in your presentation, and then we will go ahead and discuss about the course and everything, for which I have my presentation.
Perfect, perfect. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being so patient. And I'm so sorry for the technical delay today. I don't know what happened. Usually, I'm, before time and much better prepared than this. But somehow today, there has been a technical issue. I hope you're all doing very well. My name is Pallavi Upadhyay. I'm the co-founder of a brand called Millets for Health. We work with farmers and farmer producer companies, NGOs, to popularize growing of millets. And we also work on selling the products, bringing them to the market, and popularizing them by way of creating awareness sessions and workshops and cooking workshops, etc. Because one of the key things that we started doing when we started this work was we realized that people didn't know how to use the grain so much. And so we did a lot of awareness around that, and that is something that we continue to do. So now going to millets, what are millets? Millets are basically ancient Indian foods that we were using as staples about 30 years ago or so. In early up till 1961, 62, millets were used as staples in a large part of the country. So almost 70% of the country used to be growing millets and eating millets. But over time, we lost out on them because of various reasons. There's socio-economic, political, many aspects to why we stopped eating and growing millets. And we became a nation that was eating only 2 grains. So, now, of course, there's a movement back to revive them, to go back to eating them, and to learning more about millets. What are the different aspects of millets? Why should we eat millets? So, number one is that they are excellent for health. Millets are all gluten-free. They are all high fiber, which makes them complex carbohydrates. Which makes them, so basically when you're eating complex carbs, they break down slowly in your system. They give you energy over a sustained period, and they don't spike your sugars. They don't make you put on weight. They don't make you junk unnecessarily in between meals. So these are some of the benefits, and of course they are all alkaline. So apart from these, millets are very, very nutritious. There have been several studies now of late. The past few weeks, we've heard of some new fantastic studies that have come up with millets, where there are proven impacts on diabetes, proven impacts on cholesterol and cardiac disease. So all positive impacts. And of course, last year there was a study that came out that if you included millets in the diet of young kids and adolescent kids, it boosted their growth by up to 50% more. So many reasons why we should be including millets in our diet. The second is they are good for the farmers as well, because they are low maintenance crops. They take very less water to grow. They grow on the poorest of soils. They grow in areas where there are droughts. So they are very, very good for the farmers as well. And then the third is that they are very good for the environment. They take less water and they grow in areas that, like I said before, that are already drought prone. They have negligible impact on the environment. They don't need pesticides or fertilizers to grow. So they are not just good for your health, they are good for the planet, they are good for the farmers. So by just changing what you're eating and changing what you're eating and changing your plate, you're having not just an impact on yourself, but also on the environment and the farmer livelihoods. So these are some of the general aspects of millets. Going specifically, there are different types of millets. There are major millets and minor millets. Although there are more than 200 plus varieties of millets in the country, there are about 9 that are commercially available, of which, of course, we know ragi, bajra, and jowar. Everybody knows quite well. These are called major millets. So they can be used like flour, like atta, and there are many uses. So when we do the cooking course, there's a lot that we talk about. We talk about how the major millets can be utilized, what are the various uses, what are they more suited for, because they're in the seed form. They can be utilized in different ways, like popping, etc., which we talk about. There's a video on popping the millets as well. So we talk about things like that. Then come the minor millets, which are basically, minor millets are millets with the husk, the outer layer. It has a husk like paddy rice. So you need to dehusk it to reach the grain inside, and you can consume that. These are primarily consumed like rice, and they are extremely versatile. Minor millets are also higher in fiber. So the fiber to carb ratio in minor millets is better. And we can, use them for very, very different things. So right from pulao to biryani to salads to many other things, minor millets can be used for, there's actually a lot that can be done with them. So, in terms of desserts and bakes and many other things. So these are the two categorizations. I'll just name all the millets quickly. So I'll tell you the English name and the Hindi name. So there's finger millet or madua, also known as ragi, which is the Kannada name. So finger millet, madua, ragi, very high in calcium. Then there is sorghum or jawar. It's very high in protein. There is pearl millet or bajra, extremely high in iron. Then the minor millets, there is a foxtail millet, also called as kangani in Hindi, very rich in protein, lowest in carb amongst all the millets. Little millet called kutki, very good for digestion, very high in fiber. Barnyard millet, also called sama, samak, changura, bhagar. This is the millet that's used for fasting commonly across the country. But make sure, we'll talk about this just subsequently as well. Make sure you're buying unpolished samak or bhagar or sama. Unpolished is slightly creamish in color, so it shouldn't be white, which is what is usually available during fasting time. Then there is the proso millet. It's called china. It's yellowish. It's very high in protein again. And kodo millet. It's excellent. It's also called kodo in Hindi, same name, and it's very good for diabetics. Brown top millet, against highest in fiber amongst all the millets, and very, very high in fiber. So these are the 6 minor millet varieties. Millets can be eaten by anyone and everyone, young kids in different ways. So there are ways of making, different age groups consume millets as well, depending on the digestion and other aspects, which we talk about this more in detail in the workshop, but I'll touch upon it right now. So, younger kids can have millets. You can introduce ragi to them, ragi or madua at a young age after like 6 months. When you're introducing solid foods, they can be introduced to millets. Adolescent kids, like we covered earlier, they grow much more. So younger kids, actually food is the building block of the body, right? So what they're eating, literally, that's what they become. So it's extremely critical at that age that we feed them the right thing. So millets are an excellent choice, and some of the millets are better than the others for them at that age. And we should make it a point to include it in their diet. Then, of course, for adults, I think with the sedentary lifestyle of today, it's very, very important that we include millets in our lifestyle, because they're high in fiber, and they prevent and also reduce impacts of lifestyle diseases on your body. It's very important to include millets in our day-to-day diets. Then they're also good for older people because they are alkaline, they're easier to digest. There are certain precautions, of course, that need to be taken regarding the quantity, soaking, etc. All of that is important to consider, but they're extremely digestible. So we must make it a point to include it in the diets of everybody, because they have varying benefits for everyone. That's about it as an introductory bit from me. And Shweta, maybe you can just take it from here, and then we can talk more later. If there are questions, I can address them as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for talking about millets, Pallavi. So I think at this stage, let us share the video of one of the course recipes. That's the shepherd's pie recipe. So I have my colleague Manisha, who is going to play the video for us. Manisha, I'd request you to start sharing your screen and play the recipe video. Manisha, I think you have not selected the audio option while sharing. We can't hear.
are going to learn how to make a vegan version of a millet. So now we are going to learn how to make a vegan version of a millet-based shepherd's pie. This is a very interesting dish, and you can incorporate a whole lot of vegetables in this, whatever is available in season, and it tastes really fantastic. The millet that we're going to use for this is either little millet or barnyard millet. That's your choice. I'm going to be using little millet today for our recipe. Why I like to use either of these two millets is because they are the smallest in size, and so they don't overwhelm the whole dish, and it's not, while it maintains a carb balance in the entire recipe, it's not too grainy, so it doesn't overwhelm the entire dish. And you can taste the millet, you can taste the vegetables, and everything comes together in a balanced palate. Little millet is very high in iron, and it's excellent for digestion, and for overall gut health, for digestive issues, even for many reproductive disorders, it's highly recommended. So let's get started. The pie, and then with a little millet, tomato puree, and some salt, and of course some oil if you would like to use oil. And then we'll be cooking the base. For the topping, we need boiled and mashed potatoes. You can use cashew cream or any other nut-based vegan cream. Some coarsely ground fresh black pepper, and some salt. So this is going to be the topping. We're going to mix it together and then put it on top and put the whole thing into bake. So let's get started. I'll just add a little bit of oil. So in goes our garlic. I like to add quite a lot. So this is almost 6 to 7 cloves of the garlic. I really like that garlicky taste. I'm going to add the chopped onions. And just saute this for a bit. Then softens just a little bit, we'll add the rest of the vegetables. So now that our onions and garlic are slightly cooked, I'm going to add the rest of the vegetables. So this is chopped zucchini. Mix it well, and I'll add the rest of the vegetables as well. Bell pepper, yellow, red, you can add carrots as well. Whatever is in season and whatever you want to add, you can add. So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to add some washed and pre-soaked, now drained little millet, because we're not adding any water to this. So this is pre-soaked for 2 hours, washed thoroughly, pre-soaked for 2 hours, and then drained. And I'm adding this little millet. So this is about half a cup of little millet that I'm gradually going to add. You can, so if you want it more grainy or less grainy, don't add more than half cup, because then that will be too much. But depending on whether you want it more or less grainy, you can add the quantity you need. Because remember that this is not going to stay like this. The millet is going to cook and become bigger in size. And why I like to add little millet, like I mentioned earlier, so this is that it stays with the whole the veggies and doesn't overwhelm the flavor of the veggies. It just mixes very well together. Mix this. I'm going to add some salt, some black pepper, some oregano and other seasoning. We'll adjust and add more salt later if required. This is coarsely ground black pepper. And once this is done, I'm going to just cover this and let it cook for a while. And once this is cooked, I'm going to add the tomato puree. This is a puree of about 5 to 6 tomatoes. So I'll partially cook this, then uncover it, add the tomato puree, mix it, and then let it cook for a little while more. So our vegetables are slightly cooked. I'm going to just reduce the heat on this. And mushy, and I'll add the tomatoes. So this is just puree tomatoes, 5 to 6. Gradually add the mix to this because I don't want it to become too watery. Our base has to be cooked and moist, but it shouldn't be too watery. And you can add more or less tomatoes depending on how you prefer the taste. Keep in mind that the millets have to cook all the way through. So you need to definitely consider that aspect. And once we've added the tomatoes, if you feel, you can readjust for salt and seasoning. So this is the consistency. It's not too watery, right? And on low heat, just cook it till you find that the vegetables are almost cooked at this stage, but the millet still has to cook. So until you find it will take about approximately 10 minutes more. And we have to just finish cooking all the millets. Cover this. So after cooking the base or while cooking the base, we can start preparing the topping of the pie. I'm going to start off the top layer of the pie by boiling some potatoes. So these are boiled and mashed potatoes. To this, I'm going to add some cashew cream. It's just to make the entire thing easy to spread. And I'll probably have to use my hands for this so that it mixes well together. Basically, this is like a nice mashed potato topping for the pie. So you can use any nut butters for this as well instead of the cashew cream. Butter works very well with this entire mix. So this is mixed well together. I'm going to add salt and again freshly ground black pepper and coarsely ground, not very fine. So that will give a very nice taste to our topping. Just mix the entire thing together. You know, this is a nice creamy topping, which is going to, so when we put the base in the pie dish and this topping on top, it's going to bake to a nice brown, and it will give the entire pie a nice flavor. Now our base is cooked and the topping is cooked. So I'm just going to assemble the pie before putting it into bake. You can see how the millet is cooked when it changes its color slightly. It's not as white and opaque anymore. So I'm just going to add the filling to the base of the pie. And once I'm done doing this, I'm going to add the topping. Now we're done with the base. And I'm going to add the topping. So you can see how the millet is all nicely cooked and the vegetables are cooked. Now I'll just add the topping. The potatoes. If you want, you can use a sweet potato in replacement of regular potatoes as well, and give it your own twist in terms of the flavors you want to add to the top layer. I just find the regular ones tend to go very well with this entire recipe, but potatoes can also be used. If you're the creative type, you can use a nice, like an icing thing to make lovely designs on top as well. Or you can just let it be like this too. Now our pie is ready to bake. For events, parties, or even for special dinners, you can get this bit ready ahead of time. And when your guests are supposed to come or just before the dinner, you can put it in the oven to bake, and you can have like a nice hot dish ready to serve to people. So that's one of the things I often do. And beware, when you're making this dish, you have to make at least dishes of this if you're serving to a decent serving size. Now, pie is assembled. We are going to preheat the oven at 180 for some time, and then we are going to bake the pie at 180 for around 20 minutes. Do keep checking for browning of the crust. So if you find that it is brown before then you can switch it off and it's ready to serve. So our pie is finally baked and ready. You can see how it's evenly and nicely baked and slightly browned on top. You can serve this along with your sides of choice like a bread or anything else. Although I personally find that it's a full meal in itself because it has the carbs and the veggies and everything else and just the perfect combination.
So this was indeed an interesting recipe. So I'm sure not only did this video, in this video, people were able to see the recipe, but also it gives an idea of how the recipes in the e-learning course are going to look like. Now we will, I'll start sharing my screen and would like to talk about the course, after which maybe we will open the forum for Q&A. Is my screen visible?
It's blank.
Just give me a minute. I'll share again. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
I'm sure it's coming up.
Yeah, now I can see.
I'll just start presenting it. Pallavi, would you like to talk about the course? You're on mute, Pallavi. You'll now be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, now I can unmute myself. All right. So the course is quite user-friendly, and we have a few different modules in the course. So the written recipes, of course, given to you. You can watch it at your own pace. There are individual videos recorded for each one of the recipes. There are different recipes for different millets, and once if you're learning the recipes, it also make you get a hang of what are the different things that you can cook with specific types of millets, and how you can design like a millet based diet for your own family. So that's what the course does. almost all of the recipes are, so the recipes are all gluten-free. And I think almost all of them are pretty much available with a vegan variant. If not, there are options. So immediately we are also giving you additional 4+ hours of bonus sessions pre-recorded and downloadable ebooks. That will be covered by Shweta. So we have a roti in this. We have a dessert module. We have like a meal bowl and salad, roti and bread module, and a dessert module. So these are the 3 different modules. We cover really interesting recipes. You've learned, you just saw the shepherd's pie recipe, which is covered in one of the modules. And then there are some of the other recipes as well. We do like a cake and a bread and, cookies. There are salads and there is gluten-free pasta. There's support provided online as well. Ask questions and we'll answer them. So it's like a continuous support available for this.
So these details we will also be sharing in the WhatsApp group. I would now want to talk about the offer also that we have on the course. So yes. Yeah, of course, on your screen, you can see that once you enroll yourself for this e-learning course, because it's an online course, there is no specific start or stop date. You can start the course at your convenience on your mobile, on your computer, and access as many number of times. The videos you can watch as many number of times for a whole year. And of course, like you saw in the previous slide, Pallavi is there to support you with any queries that you may have. So, so the course, the Millets for Health e-learning course is priced at ₹1749, but we are running a 30% off at WellCure. This is a month-end discount that we are giving on everything on WellCure. So the course after 30% discount comes out to be 1,224 rupees. Other inclusions, there is this. These recipe ebooks: the Millet for Health, a course recipe ebook, the South Indian recipes made using millets, of course, curated by Pallavi. This ebook also you can download, and another ebook which is Yummy Snacks, again using millets, and an additional recipe ebook of juices and smoothies. So all these ebooks come for free if you enroll for the course till 31st of August. So on your screen, you have payment details, which we will also be putting in the WhatsApp group as well as the chat box for whoever wants to pay. You can avail of this discount, the 30% off, and use coupon code WellCure30 at the payment checkout if you want to enroll yourself before 31st. So that's about the offer and about the course. We'll now open the forum to questions. Pallavi, you would want to read out the questions yourself, or shall I read them out for you?
I don't see anything in the chat. If there are any more, then people can ask them now, and I'm happy to address it.
So okay. So if anyone has any questions, you can put your questions in the chat box, and Pallavi will be there to answer all questions related to millets, and of course about the course or the discount. We are there to support you with those queries. So course fees, Srilata, as I mentioned, otherwise the course is priced at 1,749, but with 30% discount till 31st, if you enroll, the course will be at rupees 1,224.
If you have any more questions on any specific types of millets or how to use, any other technical aspects, I'm happy to take them right now. So there's Shweta?
Yes, Pallavi. I don't see any questions at the moment. Okay, so there is a question. You want me to read out, Pallavi?
Yeah, no, millet has to be soaked before cooking. Yes. So you must see, the thing is that there are different ways of using it, right? So if you're using the whole grains, definitely soaking is important. Because see, suddenly, although, we all need the fiber in our diets, our bodies are not used to it. So because we've been eating wheat and rice for so long that we've stopped, our bodies are not used to that much fiber. So soaking basically helps aid digestibility of the millets. A couple of hours of soaking is good enough. So you wash the millet, drain it, and then soak it in the requisite amount of water. Each one of these different millets has like a different quantity of water is needed. So like, for instance, this brown top, this will need about 3 times water. So if you're taking 1 cup brown top milk, so that's it. That's the amount of soaking that I recommend that's needed, because you also have to keep the weather, etc., in mind. If it's too hot, if you soak it for too long, then it gets. Let's just knead it and keep it for a little while, and then use it to make rotis, and that will make the dough better. Questions? Is there anything else? Any specific millet that one should not consume if one has hormonal imbalance? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything specific that you cannot consume. Millets are, in fact, they're being recommended for many, many things. Doctors are recommending them. I mean, like I was covering earlier with diabetes, there's like a conclusive, excellent study now that is proving that it's you can actually reverse your, if you have any diabetes issues, if you are borderline diabetic, if you're pre-diabetic, you can reverse it. Cholesterol issues and heart cardiac disorders are there. There are also positive impacts, and of course overall growth. So generally you can eat it pretty much for everything. They're all gluten free. They're actually least allergic, allergenic grains, and you will not have these kind of issues with millets. You must remember how to soak them, quantities. All of those things need to be kept in mind. Don't eat as much as you would of white rice, reduce the quantity, etc. But you should be good enough otherwise. Just look at some of the questions again. Can we give cooked millets to kids? Absolutely. Millets can be given to kids as young as 6-7 months old. It depends on the age of the child as to how you're cooking the millet. At 6-7 months, like you introduce every other food, right? You break it down. You don't give it to them the same way that you would give it to an adult. The same considerations need to be kept in mind. Millet has to be made age appropriate, like you make rice or wheat age appropriate for the kids. But as they grow beyond like 2 to 3 years, you can give it to them in any which way. Even after 1 year, you can start introducing khichdis and other things to them, and they're extremely easy to use. And the younger you can introduce them to millets, the better it is, because then they become used to that palate. For them, food is not just rice or wheat. There's a variety in the diet, and it's more nutritious for them. Any other questions? Will the course be in Hindi? No, this course is in English, but I do know that there's already like a Hindi with Belcure. So you can access the Hindi one also. I'm sure if you ask them, they can help you out. So we did like a Hindi live workshop for which a recording is available. Any other questions? All right, then. I think, Shweta, we're done for the day.
Yeah, sure, Pallavi. I would, once again, like to reiterate that it's a very comprehensive course. So, though a lot of us keep hearing about millets and may want to, have the health benefits of including millets into our diet, but the confusions regarding what exactly millets are, how to use them, and who can have them. So all these questions or these confusions are, Pallavi has addressed in the course. The recipes are not only very interesting, they are done very nicely, stepwise. The recipes are given, and you'll be able to incorporate these into your daily life and have the health benefits of millets. So if you are looking at incorporating millets into your diet, this is going to be the course for you. And do avail. I mean, this is the best time to enroll for the course at 30% off. So like I mentioned, details will be shared in the WhatsApp group. And so with this, I think we'll conclude today's session. Thank you, Pallavi, for joining us today, sharing the insights about millets. I'm sure a lot of us will be there to share their questions through the e-learning course now. And thank you everyone for joining us. And with this, we'll conclude today's session. Thank you everyone, and have a nice evening ahead.
Bye-bye.